And Mohamed, these have been some pretty interesting times with the market. You heard what Mike was just talking about. We've got inflation concerns out there, questions about what the Fed will do next. What are you watching? What do you think is going to be the issue that really determines where we head?
So I think the top four issues are, first and foremost, the nature of inflation. And the market is starting to realize that it's not as transitory as we thought. And this notion of transitory for longer is starting to sneak in, even though it makes no analytical sense. The second issue is the Fed's reaction function. It is becoming less dovish. The third issue is the functioning of the labor market. And finally, you have China. So, I look back on September. Was September great? By no means, but it was a lot better than you would have expected, given that all these things are going on.
Okay, so we know the supply chain issues are a real problem, that this looks, even from the Fed's own perspective at this point, that this is not as likely to be transitory. In fact, some people don't even think that this is a situation that's going to be resolved next year. Could this get out of control at some point, Mohamed?
It could. And you've heard me say over and over again, we've got to change mindsets. For too long, we were worried about demand. Demand is not a problem. Supply is a major problem. And unfortunately, we haven't moved yet. The company's mindset has moved, but the policymakers' mindset, in particular the central banks and the Fed in particular, is not moving fast enough. So it can be an issue. I worry a little bit because they may be looking at a PCE, which is their favorite inflation target, not coming down from the 3.6 that we got last week, but going up to 4% by the end of the year. What are they going to do? I worry that they're going to miss this window to taper, as you've heard me say over and over again for the last few weeks.
We had a couple of market guests earlier who were positing that maybe it's less likely that the Fed will move now that you've gotten rid of Kaplan and Rosengren, who were two of the more hawkish voices. Do you think that's the case? And there's also questions about, is Jay Powell going to feel this extreme pressure, especially right now, with the Biden administration considering whether they're going to renominate him? You heard what Elizabeth Warren said last week.
Yeah, we don't know. That's the problem, is when you allow opportunities to go by and you don't exploit them, you end up in this lose-lose situation. And it is a lose-lose situation because do they really want to start tightening monetary policy into a slowdown? Already the Atlanta Fed measures suggest that we're going to have a significant slowdown. We've had a significant slowdown in GDP growth in the third quarter. So yeah, they're ending up in this difficult situation. And I feel for them, but it is unfortunately a problem of their own making.